welcome to the conclusion of another highly questionable week. What do you like today, Bo?
Andre Iguodala, most diabolical hater on that side of the Mississippi.
Shade. Vamos, papi.
Is Tom Brady right to give up the fight?
What's the point at this point? It's a losing proposition. Nobody is going to change their minds. We have all of the information in. The judges can't necessarily agree. Appellate courts can't necessarily agree. And so we're in a place where it's stalemate, and now he's just throwing money at a cause that is already lost, because whether he wins this or not, people have made up their minds.
But that's the beauty of being rich. You can throw money at whatever you want. You can set your money on fire and then light cigars with it. Think about it. If you're saying that he's right to give up the fight, you're basically telling the man to bow down to Raj. What is cool about bowing down to Raj? Everybody in this has had to bow down to Raj, which is to say, Roger Goodell, the man we all feel is just a little bit power mad, just justified his power madness. I really wish Tom Brady was still fighting.
Bomani, for all the money that Tom Brady has spent on this, I thought he could have gotten better lawyerly advice. Make it a freedom fight. He can't do it now, but make it a fight over the cell phone. I will not give the NFL my cell phone because they will leak the information from my cell phone. Then you can continue this kind of fight because people will line up behind you. But the lawyers never offered him that as one of the options, or he never took it as one of the options.
He is my impersonation of Fidel Godel right now. Hey, baby! Who is number one? Who is number one? Numero uno. Numero uno. Number one.
Garoppolo, too, by the way. Garoppolo's not far behind there.
Does it make sense for the Celtics to shift their focus from Russell Westbrook to Blake Griffin?
Focus.
Shift.
Focus.
Shift.
Focus.
Two dangerous words there.
Focus.
Shift and focus.
All right, we got a smattering of reports saying that the Boston Celtics, who have been thinking about trying to acquire Russell Westbrook, are now thinking about trying to acquire Blake Griffin. Now, of course, that would make some level of sense because Doc Rivers only does business with people he used to work with, work for, or happens to be related to. Now, is this the move to make? It's been a long time since I've thought about Blake Griffin as the best player on an NBA team. How good is a team with Blake Griffin as its best player? Do we really have any way to be able to tell how far you will be able to go in that? Westbrook, yeah, there's some variance on how good he might be because he can be so reckless. I still think I'd go with him over Blake Griffin in 2016.
I'm just wondering, though, Bo, how many times are we going to do this just because the Celtics are a storied franchise that has assets that nobody seems to want? Because keep in mind, we talked about Westbrook yesterday. Today, it's Blake Griffin. Before, it's been Okafor. It's been Cousins. It's been Jimmy Butler. It's been Kevin Love. They haven't gotten any of them. They just need a star because they don't have one, so we're going to keep doing this until they get one.
Here's the thing, though. They do have assets that people want. They just don't want to give those assets up. Those are those picks from the Nets. People want those. They don't want to give those away.
You know, Griffin is so soft. You know, he's like Charmin toilet paper. You know, I mean, he's all bark and no fight. He gets pushed around. He gets hurt. You know, that's it. You know, you need somebody like Westbrook. You know, he takes from anybody. Wow.
It's bark. It's bark and no bite. Although
to be fair, everything else he said was true.
I mean,
do you believe, Adam Silver, that Kevin Durant's mom changed his mind of the Warriors super team move?
This is the situation Adam Silver finds himself in. He wants competitive balance, allegedly, even though his league has never had competitive balance. So he has to say something like that to placate the small markets. But this is ultimately good for his league. This is interesting for his league. We're going to watch this team. We don't really care that much about competitive balance as viewers, customers, as a whole. And so when he says that this is 3 drafted players on a team and 1 free agent, and that Kevin Durant's mom is the one saying this, convincing him, it's just him placing this somewhere because he's actually fine with this.
You know, I'm generally a Commissioner Dungy fan, but he sounds like a great big old lame in this one. Number one, the opposition to the whole notion of the super team sounds like he's speaking for his bosses because they're the ones who said they don't want a super team. But don't you remember when Dan Gilbert was at the front of we don't want a super team, and then he got a team that was kind of like a super team himself, and we haven't heard him complain about it one time. The owners hate it until they're the ones who actually have the team. Where I have a problem with Silver's talking about is he said the Warriors, that was okay because they drafted all those guys and then they signed 1 free agent. He doesn't like the idea of multiple players deciding to go somewhere new and start that super team. First of all, that's happened 1 time in NBA history. Number 2, what you're basically saying is you're okay with super teams just as long as the players aren't the ones who put those together. I see you, bruh.
You know, Adam Silver is so soft. He's softer than Blake Griffin,
Oh,
you know.
geez.
I can't believe that he just roll over like a little dog, you know. He let it go by, you know. I'm telling you, they need some new leadership in there, you know.
No, that's Silver being polite to Kevin Durant's mom. I may or may not have a friend who on the radio screamed at Kevin Durant's mom, LeBron's better than your boy. Is that what you want Adam Silver to do?
That's what I did. I did that.
How should the Cavs feel about Andre Iguodala saying the Thunder were the best team in the playoff?
You heard that right. Andre Iguodala said the Thunder were the best team in the playoffs, not the one that won the championship, but the Thunder. They were the best team in the playoffs. Maybe that's him just trying to throw a little positivity toward his man Kevin Durant. But listen to this.
Well, now that we got KD, I can say it. They were the best team last year in the league, in the playoffs.
They were. They had you.
And that's they were better than Cleveland.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, they were
Yeah,
the
not
best team.
regular season.
They were the best team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They should have won a championship.
So why didn't they?
We just hawked them down. But they were better than us. They played us better than anybody. They played us better than Cleveland. They played us like they had our number. Some of the stuff they was doing is like, oh man, we got to play perfect.
That can be both truth and disrespectful. It's his truth and it's also disrespectful, which is funny coming from a team who spent a lot of time last year complaining about the Clippers, saying how lucky they were and that they got lucky that the Spurs were hurt and that everybody was hurt around them and that they only had to go through Memphis. They got awfully hurt by that, and then he's saying the same thing, basically.
I will give him this, though. That is a way to pat yourself on the back after one of the great collapses in postseason history that's been forgotten by their greatness in free agency this year. But think about that. We actually beat the best team in the postseason, you know. Then after that, you know, we just got a little bit tired is all. My back was hurting.
I do believe he's made it a little bit worse that the 73-win team was the third best team in last year's playoffs.
Are you kidding me? Larry should be in the NBA office, Larry O'Brien trophy, you know? I mean, that's right, but the league was pushing so hard to get LeBron to Game 7, you know? I mean, they should have had 2 MVPs in that playoff. Kiki Vanderwich on one side, you know, because he suspended Draymond Green for 2 games, and then you got the other guy, what's his name, Phillips, Jason Phillips,
The
you know,
referee.
that's right, he fouled out, you know, he fouled out Steph Curry, you know, in game 6, you know, he threw the MVP out of the game, you know, and don't forget about the officiating in 5, 6, and 7, you know, all of them, they made sure that trophy went to Cleveland.
With all that talk, I think he's trying to put up a Match.com profile to try to marry Stephen Curry.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to Omari Hardwick.
I think I farted twice in the middle of a scene. They cut the first time, and then they did the scene again, and I farted again in the middle of the scene.
Okay.
Was it like a real dramatic scene? Like you know, the tension?
My son's TV show is brought to you by US88 Insurance, banking and investments tailored for the military community. Joining us at the beach today is Omari Hardwick.
All right, he stars in the show Power. Season 3 premieres this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Stars Network. Let's talk to him.
Can you tell us what your first few weeks and months and maybe even years were like when you moved to Hollywood? What was the struggle like?
Well, you know, it's a typical, the proverbial, let me find an apartment or at least a couch to kind of call home for a minute. You know, when I got cut from my attempt in the NFL, I found my way to New York and was here for a little bit doing a play that took me to Chicago and Dallas, Detroit, Atlanta, respectively. And then once I ended up in the hills of Hollywood, I was on Fuller and Fountain, right below Sunset Boulevard in Little Russia, as a little brown boy from Decatur, Georgia, who was just trying to chase this dream down. And I was poor, you know. I was writing in a journal saying what I thought life would or could become for me one day, but I tried to find 3 things. I tried to find some semblance of a church, just some place I could sort of meditate on a Sunday. I tried to find a YMCA, the local YMCA, to maintain my workouts and just to play ball or whatever, basketball, just to stay in shape. And then I tried to find a poetry lounge, being a poet.
Did you have many nights? Because I read that you slept in your car some. Were there a lot of nights that was so?
Yeah, I definitely did it for about 2 months. That was a nice stint of about 60 days for sure, where it was just me and I wrote a lot of poetry during that time, Dan, just to kind of stay sane. I talked to a friend today, actually, a college roommate. He played wide receiver in school, and and we talked about that moment where I was doubtful for a minute. You know, I guess I had enough confidence, and moms and pops and my grandparents and my family and friends had instilled enough of their belief in me, along with my own self-confidence. But there's that moment where even all of that notwithstanding, you still have a moment where you go, am I doing the right thing? And I remember this one particular college roommate who was like, absolutely you are. You're in a car, but come on. You'll be out of the car one day, and this is a marathon, and you're a turtle, and, you know, the last shall finish first, and you'll figure it out. And so now I'm talking to Dan and Bomani about that. So he was right. But I was definitely in the car for a stint of time, for sure.
What do you remember about the inconveniences about that time period? Because now you're getting the kind of roles you've broken through, you're getting the kind of things that you dreamed about. What do you remember specifically about what your life was like those 2 months?
It was very inconvenient to have to go to the YMCA to shower. That was, you know, it's a lot cooler to just roll over in bed and for your bathroom to be, you know, 5 feet away from you. But I was literally showering in the YMCA. I gained a lot of wisdom from a lot of the elderly men. You know, YMCA welcomes everybody from your father's age to you know, our children's age. So it was kind of a great place to be, even though I was forced to be there in terms of uncomfortable circumstances, as you said. But I remember that. I remember feeling like I can't get access to the things that I need. You know, I'm barely holding on to the car, which is about to be repoed, but I'm living in the car. It's serving as home. I definitely had a lot of friends at the poetry venue that I was frequenting every Tuesday night, the Poetry Lounge on Fairfax and Melrose, that they would throw me a couch or two when I was a little bit too uncomfortable or had lost enough pride to ask them, yo, can I stay at your house? But otherwise, you know, I'm a Capricorn, Dan, so I'm very much a loner, man, and I was okay being in the car for a minute, but it was a little disconcerting and definitely uncomfortable at the same time, for sure.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Denzel Washington helped you with the payment on that car so it wouldn't be repossessed. Do I have that right?
He did. He did. I called Pauletta Washington, Bomani, and I said, I was working with John David, who's now on Ballers on HBO, their son, who's doing a SmackDown great job, of course, as an actor, and working with Dwayne Johnson. And I called Pauletta and I said, I got to at least keep the car. You know, they had already allowed me to stay at the house some nights, but the school that I substituted for, that kid went. John David Washington went to that school. So I got close enough to the family via him. And I called Pauletta and she said, yeah, let me run it by, you know, husband first. And of course she had to do that. And Denzel said, yeah, absolutely. So they gave me specifically $1,500 to make sure that the car wasn't repoed, which was probably a payment for about 2 to 3 months of back payment. And when I paid him back, once I started working as an actor, you know, I think if I'm not mistaken, he framed that check. So quite humbling that he took that to heart the way he did. It was really cool. And for Pauletta to be like wide open to allowing me that opportunity. And her thought was, if you don't get help from us, who are you going to get it from? You know, you're in our lives, so we might as well help you. She knew a little bit about a guy that was trying to follow a similar dream, and that being her husband.
Omari, my father's got something for you. Go ahead, Papi.
Omari, what is the most embarrassing moment you have had on a TV or movie set?
I think I farted twice in the middle of a scene. They cut the first time, and then they did the scene again, and I farted again in the middle of the scene.
Okay.
Was it like a real dramatic scene? Like you know, the tension?
It wasn't that's a good question. It wasn't a crazy dramatic scene, but it was definitely one where everybody had to definitely listen, and my fart sort of replaced the writing.
All right. Excellent work. Excellent follow-up. Good journalism. We're doing important journalism around here. Thank you.
Well, you know, I
appreciate
majored in
sir.
broadcast journalism, so I have an affinity for what you three do every day. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Don't worry, Omari. I'll do it all the time, you know?
Thank you.
And he always lies and says
all right.
he didn't.
See you later.
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. The remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama, rolling that body. Got every man in here wishing. Sipping on coke and rum. I'm like, so what, I'm drunk. It is the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have some fun.
He is.
My son's TV show is brought to you by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. Do you question whether Olympic preps are going to plan?
Yeah, this whole thing with the Olympics has been a bit disastrous. They got that Zika, they got the water that might burn your skin, they don't have police, and then this happened.
Oh, no.
So this is the Olympic torch, as you can tell.
Is that guy running in clogs?
Yeah, I think you're looking at the wrong thing. How about the guy with the fire extinguisher? Trying to extinguish the Olympic flame.
But it didn't work.
No, it didn't, and I don't understand how.
and security gets his buddy blown in the face with some extinguisher juice.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. I've been reading about and their police, and I'm a little bit surprised that dude got off a second shot with that extinguisher.
It wasn't an accurate one. It was a second shot that hit his buddy in the face.
Yeah, but I thought the second shot would be from something other than a fire extinguisher.
That's the worst fire extinguishing I have seen in Brazil since this.
Oh, what happened? We got another one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is great. How did we forget about this? Where's the fire extinguisher? Ah!
My question is, that dude who ran behind him, why? What are you going to do?
What about the dude that limped in at the end with the fire extinguisher?
Do you question if Roberto Mancini would have been better off answering the question?
Okay, he's the coach of Inter Milan, and his striker, evidently, there are rumors all around him, whether he's going to play for that team or another team, and he's tired of answering those questions. Look.
Non leggo I giornali, non ascolto le radio, non guardo I canali privati, se non qualche porno.
Oh. Ah, nice.
Scherzo.
The part he's kidding about is occasional. Occasional is the joke part.
Which part was he kidding about, that he doesn't watch satellite television? Because that part was true. That came too quickly to him for it to not be true.
Who the hell watches porno satellite television? You can see it right here. Look at that. There's a lot of action there.
Does have a point. If he's paying the $29.99, there's a more economical way to do these things in 2016.
Time to play the game that has somewhere to be. So let's move it along already. See? Or no?
Tell us what's on TV. We'll tell you if we're intrigued or not.
Go.
On the NBC Sports Network, the Tour de France.
Last time we checked in with the Tour de France and yellow jersey wearer, Chris Froome. He was punching some yellow guy in a yellow wig, or guy dressed in yellow. What is he doing now?
Motorbike was in amongst the crowd and making a clear path, and then Richie Paul collided with the back of a camera motorbike.
And then all of a sudden, well, Chris Froome running up the climb like this, waiting for a moment when somebody is going to come up alongside and pass him a bike.
Is that allowed? He doesn't have a bike. His bike is wrecked. That's allowed? You can just start running? That seems awful. I wish one of those races would end that way one time, with like 7 guys running. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Baseball or the Tour de France? Who needs steroids more to get my attention again?
Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, I don't care about watching the bike riders. I'd rather watch the fans.
Hessing needs a little help in the pursuit here.
This part I do enjoy too, Bomani.
Martin and
there it is.
There we go.
How about you have some of that, champ?
Enjoy is a strange word, but whatever.
How about that, champion of the Tour de France? Ride all these mountains. Here's another little bit of scenery for you.
On NBC tonight, America's Got Talent.
Is this the sword swallower, or is this the Eagles long snapper who does magic? Who is this?
I love this. Neil, you're going to love this. We got a deck. They're huge. You guys can't miss these. All I want you to do is just touch anyone you want. It doesn't matter.
Anyone?
Anyone.
Okay.
Do you want to keep this or change your mind?
I want to change my mind.
You're that guy. Okay, here. Just touch one.
Let's go here.
Okay, stop. Do you want to keep this one, or do you want to change
I'm going to keep this one.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't want to see it. I'm going to blindfold myself. Show the camera. Show the crowd.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. I'm going to look down here. And here's all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this card. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ESP at its best. Neo, the card you're thinking of, you're feeling it right now, is none other than the ace of clubs. Killing it.
No.
Okay, hold on. That's amateur hour. You guys thought I drew the ace of clubs. No way. I thought I'd step this up. And ladies and gentlemen, right here before you, I drew an entire deck of cards, and Neo's card is inside. I tell you what, this would be a good trick. What was it?
You want me to tell you?
It's going to help me out a lot right now, yeah.
5 of clubs.
Let me see it. Okay, good. Remember earlier I said it was inside?
Yeah.
Watch.
No.
There you go, Neo. And now look, I didn't want to do this, but look, just to show you, that 5 has been drawn on there the entire time. There is your ace. There is your 5. I'm John Dornbach. Peace out.
Are you intrigued, Omari? It doesn't seem like you're intrigued. The side of your face doesn't look intrigued.
I'm just trying to figure out, man. Like, you can't make enough money doing that to quit long snapping? I mean, because you seem to be pretty good at the magic thing.
I mean, but if you can make a career making a lot of money just throwing a ball through your legs, that too is magic. Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. You know, I'm also a magician. I can make Dan and Bomani disappear. Are you ready to watch? Are you ready to watch? Watch this now. Here we go! Here we go! Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing gross old man.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
The amazing Harry.
I know that was a bad magic trick. But now, you watch this. Ha ha ha!